Hi, Dr. Huang here. So I received several messages from my blog from people who were interested in hearing about assertiveness and how to be more assertive. So I thought that I would come to you today with first a quiz on assertiveness so that you can assess your level of assertiveness. And then we can talk about the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness and what actually the definition of assertiveness is, so we can get some information. And please always remember that if you have comments or questions or particular areas that you'd like me to do a video on, comment in the box below and I will surely get you a video out on that as soon as possible. Okay, thanks. So we will get started. Question number 1. Do you buy things that you don't want because you are afraid to say no to the salesperson? When you do not understand the meaning of a word, do you ask about it? Do you feel responsible when things go wrong, even if it's not your fault? Do you look directly at others when you talk with them? Do people often ask you to speak more loudly in order to be heard? Do you feel intimidated by people in authority? Do you generally have good posture? Do you often feel so angry you could scream? Do you know how to ask for help without feeling dependent? If someone cuts in front of you in line, do you usually tell them off? So we're going to come back to the answers to these questions that we had in a minute. Let's talk about assertiveness. What exactly is assertiveness? Assertiveness is the ability to express one's feeling and assert one's rights while respecting the feelings and rights of others. Assertive communication is appropriately direct, open, and honest, and clarifies one's needs to the other person. Assertiveness comes naturally to some, but is a skill that absolutely can be learned. People who have mastered the skill of assertiveness are able to greatly reduce the level of interpersonal conflict in their lives, thereby reducing a major source of stress. So let's talk about the difference between assertiveness and aggressiveness, and then we'll have some examples to see if we can really flesh it out. So sometimes people confuse being assertive with being aggressive, seeing that both types of behaviors involve standing up for one's rights, right, and expressing one's needs. So the key difference between the two styles is that individuals behaving assertively will express themselves in ways that respect other people. Respect other people. That's a key, right? They assume the best about people, respect themselves, and they think win-win. Let's both benefit from this situation, rather than an aggressive person, which we'll come to in a minute. They try to compromise, be assertive, get my needs met so that you can have your needs met and we can both have a win-win situation. Whereas an aggressive person, aggressive individuals behave aggressively will tend to employ tactics such as being disrespectful, manipulative, demeaning, or even abusive. They may make negative assumptions about the motives of others and think in retaliatory terms. That's all right, I'll get you back, sort of an idea. Or they don't think about the other person's view at all. They are going to win at the expense of others, and they often create unnecessary conflict in the process. So we see that the assertive person is going to be thinking about both their needs as well as the needs of others and trying to behave in a respectful manner. The aggressive person is going to be disrespectful, manipulative, demeaning, maybe even abusive, and only thinking about themselves. But what about the passive person? Because there's usually other types of people, right? What's a passive person? Well, a passive person, these individuals don't know how to adequately communicate their feelings or their needs to others. They tend to fear conflict. So much of what they need, they let their needs go. Their needs go unmet, and they keep their feelings secret because they want to keep the peace. I don't want to upset them. I don't want to make anybody mad at me, or I don't want to get anybody in trouble. These are all statements that a passive person would make. They let others win while they lose out. The problem with this is that everybody involved loses, at least to some extent, when dealing with a passive person. So let's really quickly go over a few scenarios and see what we come up with. So in scenario A, someone cuts in front of you at the supermarket. What do? Do you respond to them by saying, "Hey jackass, no cuts"? Do you just let the person stay in front of you and never say anything? Or do you assume that they may not have seen you and politely say, "Excuse me, but I was in line"? Which one would you do? If you did number one, which is, "Hey jackass, no cuts," well, that would be an aggressive response. And if you don't say anything at all and just let them stay in line in front of you, that would be exactly a passive response. And if you politely say, "Excuse me, but I was in line," you're making sure your needs are met, you're being respectful of them, hence an assertive response. Scenario B, your friend, who can be quite verbose, very wordy, calls to vent about her bad day. Unfortunately, you have a lot of work to do and you don't have time to talk. What do? Do you listen to her for a minute or two and then compassionately say, "Wow, it sounds like you are having a tough day. I'd love to talk to you, but I don't have the time right now. Can we talk a little bit later tonight?" Or do you say, become angry? She obviously doesn't respect your time. You cut her off and you sarcastically say to her, "Oh, get over it. I have my own problems." Or do you just let her talk as long as she needs to? So again, I think that you're understanding. The first response is, "Wow, it sounds like you're having a tough day. I really want to hear about it, but I don't really have time. Can we talk later?" That would be a assertive response. "Oh, get over it. I have my own problems." An aggressive response. And not doing anything at all is a passive response. So we can see how these response styles are quite different. So in looking at the first step towards being more assertive is to take an honest look at yourself and your responses. So sort of like the questions that we asked in the beginning. So let's look at your answers to the following questions. Do you have difficulty accepting constructive criticism? Do you find yourself saying yes to requests when you should really say no, just to avoid disappointing people? Do you have trouble voicing a difference of opinion with others? Do people tend to feel alienated by your communication style when you disagree with them? Do you feel attacked when someone has an opinion that's different from your own? So if you've answered yes to several of these, then you can benefit from an assertiveness lesson. So let's just go through briefly some topic areas that I've come up with, and in our next vignette we can talk more specifically about each. So number one, in terms of working towards being more assertive, you want to be firm and decisive. Say no if you have to. So if you know that you don't want to do something but feel pressured by people around you, take a deep breath and definitely and definitively say that you will not be able to sign up for that particular task. Mention the reasons that you won't work out for you, and very specifically, and then move on. Okay? So when establishing boundaries with people, it's important to be clear, firm, and decisive. Very important. Number two, ask for what you want matter-of-factly. What does that mean specifically? So people who have trouble with assertiveness are typically fearful of expressing their needs. Asking for what you want just means that you will be expressing your feelings. So what I would like for you to do is practice stating what you would like and what you would like to happen, both at home and at work, in a matter-of-fact way. Again, start small, so don't get too big with it. As an example, I want to be involved in X, Y, and Z meeting at 2 p.m. today. Or if you're talking to a friend, you could start with, I need to go to the dentist at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so I'd like to switch our lunch date to the following day if that's okay with you. Speak up and voice your opinions at the lunchtime table. So you want to really value yourself enough to express your needs. Okay? These are all valuable tools. Achieve your goals, number 3. This is an important step that may be intuitive when thinking about assertiveness. So it may not be intuitive. I'm sorry. If you set clearly defined goals for yourself and achieve it, you will have expressed your specific needs to achieve that goal. Set your boundaries on your time and articulate your needs to others in order to get to the end point. Number 4, constructively resolve conflict. Conflict is a part of everyday life. Those things are going to happen. We are going to have conflict. It's a matter of how we deal with the conflict that makes all the difference in the world. Talk about problem-solving approaches while stating your needs is a part of assertively resolving a disagreement. Okay? Number 5. Be interested in the people around you. Be sincerely interested in the people around you. As you express interest in other people's lives and families, that interest will be reciprocated, and you can naturally get in a relationship dynamic with the person because you genuinely want to hear what they have to say, and they genuinely want to hear what you have to say. And finally, believe in yourself. Value and express your own feelings, opinions, and interests. If you strongly believe that what you have to say is important, assertiveness will become a part of your natural behavior. Sign up for activities that you love and are passionate about. Develop your hobbies. Surround yourself with people that value and love you. Realize that you are equally as important as everybody else around you. So those are my tips for today on assertiveness. I hope that helps. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment box below. And any topics that you would like me to hear in terms of coping skills, strategies for life, strategies for living a healthy, happy, more fulfilled life, please ask Dr. Huang. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.